Hey everyone. Okay, so I've tried to film this several times, and the most recent time, things were going well, except then I lost my lighting. So now I have artificial lighting from that lamp and that lamp over there, plus a little bit of daylight left. So that's why I probably look like gray and yellowish at the same time. But anyway, I wanted to start this video by saying thank you to my new subscribers and apologizing for this plane that's about to go by. Hang on one second. Okay. Wait, nope. Just hurry up already. I think it was two. Yeah, it's two of them, that's why this is taking so long. But anyway, so I wanted to thank my new subscribers because I've gotten like 20 in the last month or so, and that's huge for me. That's like, I don't know, a sixth of my subscriber numbers, I guess. So I wanted to say thank you and welcome, and I hope you enjoy my videos. And I also wanted to thank Katie from BooksandThings and Kate from Howe, because I think they both gave me shout-outs recently. Katie and I are doing an Oliver Twist read-along in, or buddy read, I guess, in April. And she, I think, mentioned that in her Oliver Twist What the Dickens video. And then Kate and I are doing, what are we reading? Laura Cries to Candleford by Flora Thompson. I should know this because we started today. And so I think she gave me a shout out when she mentioned what she was reading for the month. So thank you both, because I'm sure you guys have a lot to do with all these new subscribers. And I will talk about both their channels, I'll put both their channels in the description. So thank you, and welcome to new people. And if you found my channel on your own, great, thanks for giving me a shot. So anyway, this is a book tag. It's the This or That book tag, which I most recently saw on ListObsessedReader's channel, and I will also put her channel down in the description. And unfortunately, this tag is so old that I don't remember who created it anymore, but just disclaimer, it wasn't me. And I actually thought that I had done this book tag, and I think what happened is I filmed a video, and then it was so long that YouTube wouldn't upload it, so I don't know. I don't know what happened, but anyway, I'm redoing this now. So let's get started. And these books are kind of all over now because I've done this a couple times and then deleted it. So I might have to rummage around a little, so apologies for that. And also some of the books are still on my shelves, so I'm just going to talk about them because they were too big to get out and show you, because that just would have been a lot of very heavy books. So anyway, let's get started. Okay, so first is your oldest book and your newest book, and this is by publication date, not how long they've been on your shelves. So, oldest, these two, which are a part 1 and part 2, two-volume set of King Henry IV by William Shakespeare, and these were published originally in 1880, and then again in 1898, and the editions I have are from 1898. And I don't mean that this play was originally published in 1880, I mean these editions, because the play was published way before that. But yes, so these are the oldest, I think. And I think I have one from like 1888, but I didn't remember which of my old books that was, so I probably have an older one floating around somewhere, but those were the ones I found. And then newest is The Shepherd's Crown by Terry Pratchett, which is very sadly the final book in the Discworld series. And this was published in August of 2015. Actually, the reason why I have this UK first edition is because I was so sad that it's the last one, and I knew for his last Discworld book I wanted one that was special to me. And also, this cover is so much prettier than the American one, and it also, to me, tells such a better tale of what the story is about. rather than, like, the American one, you cannot tell what it's about at all. And this is also the final book in the Tiffany Aching branch of Discworld as well. So, I'll be really sad to get to this one. Next up is Biggest Book and Smallest Book. And this is the only big book I have in this pile, because it kind of pertains to the question, so yeah. This won't even fit. Oh, it kind of fits in the frame, but not totally. This is Harry Potter Page to Screen, The Complete Filmmaking Journey, by Bob McCabe, I think. So yeah, it's giant and gorgeous, and I love it, and I really need to flip through it more. And my smallest is so small that I keep losing it. It is Quotable Women, a collection of shared thoughts, and this is quotes from famous women of any sort. Some of them are historical figures, some of them are actresses, some of them are authors. So yeah, this is super cute, and a little book you can fit in your purse or your pocket. Next up is Longest Book by Pages and Shortest Book, and my longest book is one that is one I can't show you, unfortunately, because it's still packed away in a suitcase because I just got back from a trip and I was reading it, and that is War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy, which is 1,215 pages. And that's 1,215 pages of a very oversized trade paperback, not a mass market, so they're pretty giant. And my shortest book is this one. It's exactly 80 pages, and it's 80 pages that look like that, very small print and everything. And it's just, it's The Language of Flowers by Kate Greenaway, and it's just the kind of English language of flowers, and there are different languages of flowers depending on what culture and what culture you live in and what language you speak, which I should have realized, but I didn't really think about it until the other day. I was at a bridal shower and we were doing a quiz about the Korean language of flowers, which was really cool, and I didn't know that that was a thing, which I should have. Okay, next up, oh gosh, I think next up is Most Beautiful Cover and then Ugliest Cover, and my Most Beautiful Covers, again, one I cannot show, I'm sorry, because they're in a really heavy box set up on my shelf, and they are the Sherlock Holmes heirloom box set, and I love them, and they are definitely the most beautiful books I've ever owned, and I think they're also in my Christmas haul, so if you want to take a peek and see what I mean, you can go look at that, or you can look up the picture online, but they were just too heavy to, like, bring down and put back, really until I start reading them, so. And then Ugliest, this is a two-way tie. First, any of these Dover Thrift editions. I hate the Dover Thrift covers. I bought these when I was a senior in college, because I really wanted to read a few more intellectual books, and when I saw how cheap these were online, I was like, oh, I need those. But the thing is, they have the ugliest covers known to man because they are so cheap. And then the other one is Dream of Orchids by Phyllis A. Whitney. This book basically makes it look like it is about a couple who just have sex the entire book, and that is not true at all. It is a really, really cool, very terrifying to 12-year-old me mystery, with a little bit of romance in it. And luckily this was not the cover, not the edition that I read when I was 12, because I wouldn't have picked this book up if it had looked like that when I was 12. I don't think. So, yeah. And also, I thought the other cover was a lot prettier, even that the flower was a lot prettier. So yeah, this cover makes this look like a very steamy romance, and There are romantic elements, but that is not the main aspect of the story. So I don't like this cover. Next up is, I believe, most expensive book and biggest bargain, or like cheapest book, and they're actually one and the same, and I accidentally left them on my shelf over there. And it is two different Harry Potter books that are the same edition. They were retail priced at $75, and I think I got them for $35, maybe? I don't know. It was somewhere between $15 and $35, in that range. I don't remember which, but either way, probably the biggest bargain I've ever gotten, aside from, like, getting a book from a thrift store, but I don't really consider that a bargain, because all the books that you get from thrift stores are all used, and they're usually damaged, in some way, shape, or form, so, like, I feel like I should be paying less for them, whereas these were new, books, still in their slipcovers. I don't think they'd ever even been read. I think the person probably bought them just to sell them later, though why you would buy a collector's edition of a book and then sell it for $40 less than the retail price, rather than like $200, I have no idea. But I thank those people, or that person, because I have them now, and they are beautiful. So yes, those are definitely my most expensive books, and also my biggest bargain. Next up is, sorry, I told you guys I was going to get these questions mixed up, I think, because there are so many of them. Favorite book and least favorite book, or book that you hated, and my favorite is Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. And funny thing about this edition, I adore this edition. I think this cover is gorgeous, and it's French flaps, and it's so pretty on the inside, but it actually totally reminds me of a video that Kate Howe just posted, where she talked about book covers, and she says that she hates that Austen books, like, sometimes Austen books are marketed where all of them have flowers on them, and she says she really doesn't like that, because they are marketing strictly to women. And then when she said that, she was like, not that guys don't like flowers, but if you're a guy and you see a really flowery book, you're not just gonna, like, pick it up and look at it to see what it is. So I totally agree with that statement. And the thing is, I really, really love this cover, but I do agree. However, like, this is the only book in this series that was printed that has flowers. The others are Pride and Prejudice, Jane Eyre, and Wuthering Heights, and Pride and Prejudice is green and has, like, a armchair and maybe a fireplace on it. Maybe not a fireplace, but it's like an armchair and a table or something. And then Jane Eyre has dripping candles on really tall candlesticks with a red background. And then Wuthering Heights has a blue background, and there's like this giant tree with lightning, and it's like dusk on a moor. That's freaking cool. That one I feel like a guy would pick up to see what it was about, because that was a really cool cover. But specifically, these 4 editions were, I believe, marketed towards teens, because they were trying to get teens to read more classic literature. And yes, they probably were marketed a little more towards girls than boys, but if I was a boy and I saw that Wuthering Heights cover, I would probably pick it up. But anyway, in general, I do agree that this does not look like something a guy would pick up, which makes me so sad, because, you know, Jane Austen has sword fights and baseball and dirty jokes. I'm not saying that's the only reason why guys would pick up an Austen, but I don't know, that just, like, baseball and sword fights, I'm like, what guy would not like that? And then dirty jokes, I just feel like guys like dirty jokes better than girls, but some girls do like those. I don't know. I'm rambling at this point, but yeah, I do wish that more Austen was marketed so that guys would feel like they could pick it up. So yes, favorite. And least favorite is one I was just talking about, and that is Wuthering Heights. I do think that this edition cover of it is gorgeous. However, I hated it very, very much. No offense if you like it. I just really didn't. Okay, next up is, I'm going to go with a book that made you laugh and a book that made you cry. And a book that made me laugh, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. I completely loved this and was laughing the entire time. All these post-its are the parts that made me laugh. I just love it, and I can't wait to continue the series. Book that made me cry, Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry by Rachel Joyce. This I read, when I read this, I listened to the audiobook, which was narrated by Jim Broadbent, who plays Professor Slughorn in the Harry Potter films, and also the professor in Lion, the Witch, and Wardrobe. And he did such a marvelous job, and he was immediately Harold for me. And also the thing about this book is that when I was reading it, my grandfather was going through the later stages of Alzheimer's, and it was like before he died, but things were still getting worse, and so this was a really sensitive time for me, and for some reason I was just drawn to this book instead of wanting to put it off while that was going on in my life. And this book really helped me, actually, and I feel like that's an extra reason why I cried. I would have cried either way, but I think I cried more because of the personal stuff that was going on in my life that connected me with this book. Next up is a book that made you... Oh, a book that warmed your heart, and then a book that made you shiver. And a book that warmed my heart, Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame. I love this, and this is my aunt's edition that she's let me borrow pretty much for years. It's been on my shelf. And these are the most beautiful illustrations for this book that I have ever seen. Probably a little prejudiced, but still, I mean, look at that. That's perfect. And then a book that made me shiver, also Dream of Orchids by Phyllis A. Whitney. Because the end of this book gave me nightmares for weeks, yet it is still one of my favorite mysteries that I can remember. I don't really know why, but it is. I love it, and I need to reread it, actually. Okay, next up is a book that you are excited to read and a book you've been putting off. And for a book that I am excited to read, pretty much any of these. These are the ones that are on my list for after the ones that I'm currently reading, but also the ones that I'm currently reading I'm also very excited for. Like I started Lark Rise to Candleford today, and also Weird Sisters, and I haven't actually started Weird Sisters yet. I need to finish Lark Rise chapter and then go on to that, but I'm very excited to read both of those, and I'm excited to continue on with everything else that I'm reading, so pretty equally excited for a lot of different books. Books that I have been putting off. I've been putting off a lot of the series that I'm currently reading, like the Flavia de Luce series, the Song of Ice and Fire series, Outlander. The latter two are mostly because each book is so huge, and there are several, so that's why I've been putting off those. And then I've also been putting off a lot of really big standalones, like Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett, or Follett. I say Follett, I think it's Follett. And also S by Doug Dorst and J.J. Abrams, because that is not only a very long book, but it's also very big. It has 3 different storylines going on, and also it's an interactive book, so it actually has things that are put into it. So I'm very terrified to read that one. And then also Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. So there's a lot that I'm putting off right now. But I don't know, right now I'm just trying to mood read, basically, and it's really fun. Okay, next up, is I think, wait, are those the only ones? Oh, a book that you would recommend to everyone, and then a book that wasn't as good as you were expecting. And for a book that I would recommend to absolutely everyone, or no, it's a book that you wish more people would read. And for me, that is Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy. Hardy, I feel like, is a very popular classic author, but I feel like way more people read Tess of the D'Urbervilles and Mayor of Casterbridge, Jude the Obscure, mostly because I feel like a lot of people read Hardy for some sort of school, like either they're assigned him in a high school class or they're assigned him in a college class, and I think Far from the Madding Crowd is probably rarely one of the ones that's assigned. I could be wrong on that, but that's just, like, the one that I find most reviewed is Tess, and then also Mayor of Casterbridge. I do feel like the 2015 film gave this book a little more notice, which was great, but I just think everyone needs to read this, and then also watch the film, listen to the soundtrack, watch the 90s miniseries. I love everything to do with this. And then a book that wasn't as great as you thought it would be. For me, it was Bridget Jones. I love this film so much. I watch it every year at Christmas time. And when I was first reading it, I was very much enjoying it. And then I put it down for a few weeks because I had to do cleaning, so I just listened to audiobooks. And then I picked it back up. And when I picked it back up, the style of writing immediately just started bugging me, and I don't know why. I do want to pick this back up at some point and try again and hope that it's different. But yeah, this book, unfortunately, I was thinking I was going to love it as much or more than the film, and it ended up sort of disappointing a little, but again, I want to know if that was just because of the mood I was in when I read it. So, we'll see. And then the last question, I hope this is the last question, because if it's not, then I have forgotten a question or two, is what is a book that, what's the next book you are really looking forward to buying, and then a book that you're going to be getting rid of soon. And the next book that I'm looking forward to buying is, I really want to get, well, I should say the next book that I want in my possession, even if it's just temporarily, is Peter and Alice by John Logan. It is a play about, about John Logan's idea of what would have happened if, and okay, the thing is, the event that this is based on, I don't know if the thing that it's based on actually happened and it's just John Logan's interpretation of it, or if he just wished that this would happen. And it's basically Peter Llewellyn Davies, who was the inspiration for Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie, and Alice Little Hargreaves, who is the inspiration for Lewis Carroll for Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, meeting in 1932 at the opening of the Lewis Carroll Expedition. Exhibition. There you go. Okay. Words. I have words, I promise. I know the difference in words. But yeah, so the idea is these two meet and they have a conversation about kind of the pressure that being immortalized in a book puts on a person and how it affects their childhood and how these two men affected them and how these characters did. There's a great line from it where it's right after the two of them first meet, and Peter says to Alice, Mrs. Hargreaves, it's an honor to meet you. I've wanted to meet you for a very long time. And she says, I very much doubt it. I think you were looking forward to meeting her, meaning Alice from Alice in Wonderland. and it was just so, oh, it was so good. So I saw that in the trailer, I think, so I really want to read that pretty much as soon as I reread Alice and Peter Pan as well. I'm rereading Alice in Wonderland right now, and then yeah, so I will be getting that probably, hopefully, from my library. If my library can't order it, then I will get it from Barnes & Noble. But I'm hoping to read it for free first and then buy it when I have a little more money. And then the next book that is leaving me is Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. Just this edition, because I realize I really don't want to read this in giant hardcover form. I found this in the Salvation Army, and it was super cheap, but I realize I really don't want to read it in this form. I really want to read it in the same, this is my copy of Name of the Wind right here, and that's the version that I want to read. I want to read the mass market paperback edition of Wise Man's Fear instead of this giant thing. So, yep. Okay, I think that's all the questions. I really hope it is, because if it's not, I mean, if there are more, then I've forgotten them. So, and if there are any more, I'll look and I'll put the answers in the description. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope this uploads, because it's 26 minutes long. Thanks for watching. I will put all those channels that I talked about in the description, as well as any extra answers to questions, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.